You recording?
I am.
You weren't here last week because you ditched us, but I talked about how it's officially Clyde's Cream Ale season, which is super exciting.
It's what season?
Clyde's Cream Ale. The delicious like caramel beer that I had for a while last year after my wedding because we had a keg of it.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
We got growlers last weekend, and I've been
growlers.
drinking on that all night.
Growlers are so
Right?
cool.
They had $12 growlers
What?
for their premiere. Yeah.
No way.
Like, that's the cheapest way to get that beer. And it's so good. My brother texted me today. He's like, CBC, the craft beer seller, it's a place downtown. CBC has Clyde's on tap. It's officially Clyde season.
Nice.
I was like, Clyde season is so much better than pumpkin spice season.
I'd have to agree with you.
Yeah. All right. You know what? You host. You haven't been here in a long time.
Me? Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, cool. Wow. All right, here we go. Hey, everyone. The podcast, it started.
All right, this was a mistake.
Yes, it was.
Welcome to the Charge Shot Gamescast, everyone. We don't have a Thomas this week, so... And Lo ditched us for like 6 months. And I don't pay attention to the opening until I hear my name. So I don't remember how to open the podcast, but here it is.
Ta-da!
All right. Anyway, I'm Justin, the lovable, usually co-host, but apparently I'm running things today because Lo forgot how.
I did.
And Lo.
How's it going? I'm back. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I don't think it's been 6 months.
Back
Has it? It's been like 3.
From video game
2?
land. I don't know. Time is a construct.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot where the podcast exists for a second, so it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah, I can't keep track.
yeah, I was.
This
gone.
week has felt like 3 months on its own.
This week has felt really long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree with you there. But yeah, I was gone for a while. Now I'm back for an undefined amount of time. No one will ever really know, truly.
Unless you get swooped up by someone else because of your sweet skills. I don't know if you could like talk about what you were doing. But just kind of, tangentially around it.
Yeah, I can give like an NDA-friendly kind of rundown of it. I was at 2K Vegas. I was a QA tester. I tested NBA 2K19, which had recently released. I played a lot.
He's allowed to say that because he's in the credits, so people know.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not allowed to like talk about like games that are unreleased because they're unreleased, obviously. So, or I can't talk about anything I've like actually seen like in the facility, that kind of crap. So, but yeah, it was a fun experience. I liked it. I was a little apprehensive at first because a lot of people were telling me, it's like, oh, if you test games, blah blah, you're gonna start hating games all of a sudden and this and that. It's like it's gonna change the way you look at games forever. And it's just like, oh no, I don't want to like not like games anymore. But then I thought, I'm like, that's stupid. Like, why would I just not like games anymore all of a sudden just because? Oh no, bugs. Like, So, but yeah, if anything, it just kind of taught me to look at games with a more of a critical eye than I used to. Like more from like a technical aspect, and it's kind of like see how things like are put together, and also like, I don't know, it also taught me how to break games a little bit better than I used to, so that's always fun. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. It was great company. They treat you well, all that kind of stuff. I made some cool new friends while working there, and yeah, it was kind of like...
And some enemies.
Yeah, also enemies, yes. Some obnoxious, horrible enemies.
Randy!
But yeah, it was a good time. And it was a cool temp job, and I would gladly, work there again. I don't know, like, for, like, super duper, like, long term, I don't know about that necessarily, but, it depends.
That might break you.
Yeah, definitely. But, yeah, like I said, like if another project comes along, or I was like, oh, hey, we need seasonal like members or whatever, or testers or whatever it is, and I'd apply. And they even told me like the last day is like, oh, please reapply. You're awesome. You're amazing. Like we're only letting you go because we have to, like that kind of thing. So Yeah, it was a fun
That's
experience.
what's kind of fun about temp work is you get to dabble in a bunch of different things.
Yeah, it's nice.
So it's like it's a really good resume booster, but also it's just like you learn so many new skills without feeling like you have to stay somewhere,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So you can play around with it a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good time. But
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, now I'm just back to...
Well, what have you been playing then?
Oh, what have I been playing? A lot of Warframe for some reason. I don't know why. I was just like scrolling through my library and I was like, I haven't played Warframe in a long time. I'm going to boot this up. And then I got caught in that loop. I got caught in the gameplay loop. And then next thing I know, it's like, oh, crap. It's been like 2 hours. You know, and then I just do it again the next day. I was like, oh, crap, it was 2 hours. It was supposed to be like 20 minutes. But it was all that kind of stuff. I got some cool things, though. So I increased my mastery ranking, which lets you like use other like weapons and like build other things and stuff like that. I kind of messed around in the plains, the kind of like big map that they have. I'm not ready for a lot of the stuff out there yet, but yeah, it's still fun to just go out there and just mess around, shoot at stuff and fish. They made a cool fishing like mini game in there too. It's not like oh, cast your thing and wait. It's more like a spear fishing kind of mechanic. So it's kind of like it's fun. It's interesting. Like I was like, oh, whatever.
Just like throwing kunai into the water.
I wish it was more like that, but it's just like it's literally like a spear with a rope. So you just like throw the spear at the fish and then like you pull it back in. And I guess you can like upgrade your fishing spear because some fish or like have more like life or HP, and you gotta like buy stronger spears in order to like kill them in one hit or whatever. But I don't know, it's a fun little distraction. Plus, you actually need the fish to like craft certain things or like components from the fish that you can. I don't know, it's crazy. It's
of course you do.
Yeah,
it's Warframe.
Of course, just more materials to collect, and it's just all these. It's just facilitating hoarding, just to the greatest, the most. It's a fun game though. So there's that, but. Yeah, a lot of Warframe. Also, like, I can tell you what I've not been playing is Fortnite, because I've been kind of over that game for the longest time. It's just like, because I used to play the PvE mode, and I don't know, it just kind of feels like it's just kind of like an afterthought, like it's just kind of like shoved in the corner. It's like, whatever, forget about you. We don't care. But here's some additional cosmetic things, that kind of stuff, but yeah, that's mostly it. Oh, another thing I've definitely been playing a lot of is NBA 2K19, because I've been testing the heck out of that game the last couple of months. And
but you did that.
Yeah, and it's
now you're doing it for free.
Yeah. It's funny because I after I got my free copy, I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to go home, I'm going to play this. Cool. And then I was like about to go in, I was about to boot it up. I was like, nah, not right now. Like eventually, but like I thought I would be like ready just to like play the game regularly, because like a lot of like with testing you have to like start over a lot. Like it's just like the next day is basically just start from scratch, do all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was like, oh, it'd be nice to like keep my progression, you know what I mean? So, but I haven't touched it yet, but I will, because it's a fun game. It reminded me of how much I like basketball games, video games. I haven't played one since like the last actual like basketball simulator, as it's referred to as, that I played was a long time ago. It was like 98. That's how long it's been. Ever since then, it's been all the arcadey stuff like NBA Jam and that was the one, NBA Street, and then Ballers. But you know, nothing like more realistic and things like that. So I don't know.
The arcadey ones are the best, though.
They really are. They really are.
I don't like real sports games.
Even like
if the ball doesn't catch on fire, what's the point?
Exactly. If you can't literally just be on fire, then there's no point even.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's mostly what I've been playing. Anything else? Nope, that's pretty much it. Yeah, a lot of Warframe.
Did you at least create yourself yet?
No, I still need to do that. I'll do that after the show. How about that? That'll be the first thing I do. Maybe it'll remind me. It's like, oh yeah, this game's cool. Because I got pretty darn good at it.
You said like the dread selections and stuff suck, so I thought you had already done that.
They do. The dread selections suck. So actually what I did was I just gave my character a beanie, so it's just his head's covered the whole time, so it doesn't matter. but yeah, I'll do that after the show. But
is that court legal? Can you wear a beanie while playing basketball?
No, that's the other thing. Like during like if you like, because you can play like street games like in the neighborhood, and you can also like the whole thing is like your character. You're also like in the NBA. You're like drafted. You got drafted to the NBA. You play this whole like story thing, and it's cool and all that stuff. But So when you play the actual NBA games, no, you can't wear any like headgear. You can wear like a headband, but that's it. So I don't know. I might just choose a different hairstyle or something like that because I just really don't like the dreads in that game. I really don't. I don't like the
dreads are hard to get right in video games.
They really are. So it's just like I feel like if you can't like dedicate the effort to making them like look good, just don't bother, you know, or just do like really really short ones that are like that don't move, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's what I've been playing though. So, how about you?
Not a lot actually. Yeah. After the show last weekend, I 100% completed Spider-Man, which was both exciting and depressing.
Oh, I know.
Because I think I woke up like Sunday morning. We had to go. I had some stuff to do with family over the weekend, and then Sunday morning we were going to go get breakfast with my family. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I got up, like, 7 o'clock or whatever, like I always do, even though it's the weekend, because I hate myself. And I was at, like, 98%. So I basically had to finish up a few of, like, the crimes in each district, and I think do, like, 1 or 2 of the like, thug hideout type areas, like the beat-em-up sections, basically.
Yeah.
And so it was, like, 9:30, and we were supposed to be there at 10. And I was like literally like looking for the last crime in the last district. And so I did that real quick and the platinum popped and I was like, all right, I guess now I'll go shower and get on with the rest of my life.
Oh,
but we got back from breakfast and I got home again and I'm like, is there anything else I can do in Spider-Man? Like I've 100% completed everything, but maybe I can just, like, play around in photo mode or, like, start over or... Because there's no New Game Plus yet or anything. They're still working on putting that out.
Oh, okay.
So when they put New Game Plus out, I'm definitely going to start it over.
That's cool that
I really do want to do, like, a series. Yeah, I mean, they pretty much do that with every game now, but...
Yeah.
I really do want to do a series of just, like, cutting together the story stuff. Like, you know, with the game's voice acting and everything like that.
Yeah.
But just, like, it's such an amazing story. And, like... It's about probably 8 to 10 hours or so of stuff. If you just like look at kind of the narrative flow you'd have to include as far as gameplay, just like some quick cuts of like combat to kind of stitch together some of the sections, or like some of the the walking to an area, things like that. But I kind of have in my mind the way I kind of seamlessly cut it all together in a really fun, like almost cinematic way to make it like not feel like a video game. Like for example, one of my thoughts is that, I've stopped playing Spider-Man. I'm still thinking about how to play Spider-Man. Shut up.
Hey, no judgment here.
I really like it, okay? But one of my thoughts was like, a lot of times when you swing it around the city, there's like dialogue happening. So it's kind of like the interstitials of like, here's where you need to go next. So that's just naturally, you just record the swinging while the conversations are happening. But then after the conversation ends, like you have to still get to the next location because it usually pings your map at that point. So what you could do is basically have him swing and kind of like turn the camera around so that it's either like pointing at the sky. So he's like kind of swinging up, or point it down. So it's like he's swinging into the camera.
Oh, cool.
And then you cut, like, you continue going. But as far as the video is concerned, you would cut to like the fade out.
Yeah.
So as he's kind of crashing into the camera, so to speak, it's fading out. And then it comes back and he's like, changing out or whatever, like going into the place he's going into, whatever the case is. So it kind of looks like a movie.
I like that.
And I'm like, that's so cool looking.
Very cool.
Like in my mind. And so I want to just do some, like play the game in a way that like kind of feels cinematic when I cut the video together.
Yeah.
So I can seamlessly cut out the gameplay stuff. Because one of the biggest problems I've had with like Final Fantasy and stuff is, for one, I'm putting the audio in, so it takes forever.
Yeah.
Whereas this would be a pretty quick series. But also, like, because it's just a static camera, I don't really have a lot of choice in how to cut out the gameplay. And it's like text boxes that I'm syncing audio to and stuff like that. So if I'm literally just like cutting down the story of it to just the cinematics and like kind of a, narrative flow of gameplay, then I have to play the game a little more cinematically.
Yeah, that's true.
But other than that, like, it's just kind of editing it down. It's not that bad. So I'm definitely waiting for the New Game Plus because I'm hoping with that it'll start me at my level, like level 50 or whatever, and it won't be constant level pops after missions. Because that's one of the problems is whenever you finish a mission, they're doing their conversation and then it's like, boom, level 10, unlocked this suit, went up this stat, this, and it's just like all these things popping on screen as they're having a conversation.
Pulls you out of the action,
and that looks ugly when you're trying to, hide the fact that it's a game.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for the New Game Plus for that.
Okay.
But also I'm just kind of antsy for the first DLC in October. So yeah, I didn't play too much outside. I still found a way to talk about Spider-Man for 5 minutes just now, but I didn't play much Spider-Man this week. You missed our conversation last week, so I thought you might enjoy that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But I just kind of was like antsy for something like that. And I didn't have anything, but I did jump into the Switch Online service for a little bit just to kind of test that out for the podcast and for myself. Because it dropped on Tuesday, I think. Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. It was like late that night, so I played it the next day, whatever that was. Because it was supposed to come out on the 18th, and it was like 6 or 7 p.m. on the 18th. And the Switch Online the eShop went down for maintenance. As they were bringing up the service. So it's like, maybe I shouldn't have said the 18th.
Maybe not.
If it's going to launch at like a midnight or, 11 o'clock on the 18th.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tried it the next day. I just kind of, signed up for the 7-day free trial and then jumped into the, what they're calling Netflix, which is pretty clever. I gotta admit. And it's got 20 games right now. I think it's 20 games. I didn't count, but I'm pretty sure it's 20. A lot of them are kind of generic sports games. Like, literally generic. Like, one's called Hockey. One's NES Open. Things like that. But there are some that, like, weren't on the NES Classic that I haven't played in forever. So I played Yoshi for a while. Which, I don't know your knowledge of, like, the NES catalog. But
not vast.
This was, like, it was the first, as far as I know, the first appearance of Yoshi. Because he wasn't, like, playable in a game until Super Mario World.
Right.
On the SNES. So this was, like, a puzzle game called Yoshi, where it's, like, Mario's at the bottom flipping tiles 2 at a time, and it's a 4-tile row. And so it's kind of a Tetris-type game where you're trying to match, the things to each other. But it's like, it'll drop down like a Goomba block or a ghost block or whatever it is. And it'll also drop down the bottom and top half of eggs. So the point is to match the bottom to the top. And so like, if you have like a bottom egg and then like 5 like random tiles, nothing you can match, and then you get a top egg, you can eat through all 5 of those tiles to meet the bottom half of the egg and create a baby Yoshi. And so like you're kind of scored on how many Yoshis you've created by the time you lose, because it's an endless type thing. And it's a really simple puzzle game, but like it's literally been since the NES, like since I was a kid playing on the NES at my aunt's house, that I played Yoshi. And so that was a really nice throwback, because I kind of forgot about that game, and it's on there, like on the initial launch.
Very
nice. Like, man, that's cool. But it also includes a few classics, like the original Mario Brothers, like the kind of 2-player, knock each other off the, and then Super Mario Brothers and Super Mario Brothers 3, which, screw you, Super Mario Brothers 2, I guess.
I guess, huh?
But I do kind of want to jump online sometime and like actually play Super Mario Brothers 3 with my brother. Because we used to play that all the time as kids, and I think that'd be really fun, like just kind of, 2-player back and forth online. So I'll have to jump into that sometime.
Cool.
But they've got I think they're doing like 3 games a week after this. Like I know the first batch has Metroid in it. And I think the second batch or something has Punch-Out and a few other things, but it's some of the lesser known titles, and then kind of a smattering of things that were on the NES Classic. But I also jumped into Double Dragon for a little bit, which is also on there.
Double Dragon.
Another classic.
Nice.
I remember that game being better.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I forget that the NES only has 2 face buttons.
Yeah.
Because there's a punch button and a kick button. And aside from that,
no jumping?
You just kind of move. No, there's no jump button. in that game. That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember it being better.
Yeah. Huh.
But I guess that's later Double Dragon games that had jump. Because you can move side to side, but then up and down just moves along the plane.
Oh.
Because it's like, it's not 3D, but it's not like a side scroller. You know, it's like that kind of limited, like 2.5D, I guess. I don't really know how you explain that in NES terms, but the point is you can move 4 directions on the, 2D map.
Yeah.
And then you hit up to move up ladders, and I think you hit up or down or something to like pick up items that people drop, but that's it. Like the mechanics of the game were very simple.
Yeah. Wow.
And I played the crap out of that as a kid. Like me and my brother played that all the time, like with the 2-player mode, which again, I think would be really fun to do online. But man, I thought there was more to that game than there is.
Yeah. I guess my fondest memories are of the later games. So I remember them being having like more going on. Because I definitely remember playing, I think it was Super Double Dragon something on the SNES. And that game was pretty cool. And then, man, I played a bunch of different there's so many different versions of that game now that I'm thinking about it. Holy crap. I played a couple of different versions on Genesis 2, and then, wow, yeah. Interesting that it was so simplistic back then, though.
Yeah.
I remember it very differently.
I don't, you remember things differently as a kid, I guess. Yeah, but there are some noticeable like classics missing, which I think will probably be added over time, and were, NES classic titles. So maybe they're trying to kind of give some more variety to the NES catalog on this thing. But it ends up just being a lot of kind of generic sports games that I don't care about, which is a little disappointing. But I did get into Ghosts and Goblins a little bit, which I never played as a kid. But I know Arthur and like the franchise. I just never played any of them. That game's tough.
It is.
Like
it really is.
All you have is a jump button and a kind of a throw your like dagger button or whatever it is. And half the time the enemies will like flicker off screen when they're, in range for you to hit them. I couldn't get past the first level of that thing. Yeah. But it is funny seeing like the simple, like 8-bit graphics where he still like has his armor and then gets hit and is naked. It's like, that never loses its appeal. Right. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Most of my week was like catching up on video stuff. Like I've been watching Ozark season 2.
Oh, cool.
Which I'll just kind of get into briefly, but it's kind of funny. Like I've been, I work for the state, so I kind of hear about some of the policies and things like that. From the government. I try to keep up on news stories and things like that a little bit better. Just so I'm in the know when we have meetings and stuff. But there's a big like right to work push in Ozark season 2, which we actually just had on the ballot in, August, I think it was. And it didn't make it. Like, right to work lost, which I'm okay with. But like this whole season is basically around like kind of, dealing with the Kansas City Mafia, and like helping to get their money by helping to push their agenda. Because they're like trying to get a casino made because they're stuck with this other group that's like going to kill them if they don't do what they want. So they kind of bribe the Kansas City Mafia to help them get this casino made. And the Kansas City Mafia is basically like the government up there. Like it's a kind of a 3-pronged thing. Like the government, the Kansas City Mafia are kind of in cahoots in a way, and they want to get right to work through. So it's like, hey, you help us get right to work through. We'll help you with your casino. And I'm like, it's just really funny, like how accurate that is, because a lot of like, what are they called? Lobbyists really were pushing the right to work thing in Missouri. And so it's like, they're actually like, there really is a reason this is set in Missouri. Like it's super accurate.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Because they didn't film much of it in Missouri. Most of it was in Georgia. They did some of the exteriors and stuff when they had to get like the kind of the aerial shots of the lake. And the first few episodes had some of the businesses. Like I recognized the strip, which I've gone to multiple times, like an arcade and stuff down there, and they filmed in that arcade. I was like, that's so cool. I've played skee-ball there. But this season is just all about like how the politics of Missouri work. And there's literally something right now that they're trying to get passed in November for changing the Missouri Constitution to like ban lobbyist gifts and like cut back on donations and things like that, because there was a big issue with our governor recently, or our last governor, where he was like laundering money through his campaign. It's crazy. Like, this state is messed up. And so it's like Ozark is just nailing it, and it's hilarious to me.
Very
like,
interesting.
from as a Missourian, like seeing how much corruption is in this show and how terrible it is and how accurate it is.
Yeah.
Like, I hate it, but also it's funny. And then also this week I got some new lights, like some studio lights.
Oh, cool.
Which I've been kind of playing around with.
Nice.
So like I've been just, kind of playing like podcasts or, like audio heavy YouTube videos while setting those things up and trying to get my lighting situated. Because I've got a few new videos I want to work on, and I wanted to get these lights set up before I record those.
Nice.
So I will be playing some more stuff for those soon.
Very cool.
But I wanted to get it all sorted out. And so far, I've been able to like keep them up in the position I want them without the cats knocking them down.
Nice.
So we'll see how that goes. But they look pretty
Much
good.
luck to you there.
I mean, I can't diffuse them, which sucks, because if I diffuse them, it lets too much shadow. Like this room, I don't have anything on right now. I just have the overhead light, and it's fine. Like with this webcam.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when I try to shoot on the other side of the room, like just with my my phone camera, which is admittedly really good, it's just like it kills the exposure.
Really?
And so like I get really harsh shadows, and like it's super well lit, but like my face is still pretty shadowy.
Oh, geez.
So I took off all the diffusion, the umbrella cover on them, and everything, and just have like the harsh lighting shooting right at the kind of my set over there, and it actually cuts out a lot of the shadow and kind of helps me. But I need to see how it looks like with my face there, because I can't like get a picture of how it looks and also be in the frame.
Right.
So I need to just like kind of do a test video and see how it looks and go from there. But it's been kind of fun to play around with like quote unquote professional grade equipment. It was like $100 for the kit, but it's mid-grade. It's not like a desk lamp or anything.
Yeah.
They're on like nice tripods. They're like LED panels that kind of, wide, like I think 600 watt LED panels. Like they're good. But yeah, I need to play around with that some more, and then I'll get some new stuff out. But I really wanted to kind of lock down my production quality a little bit better before I do more video stuff, because it kind of feels like a waste of time when you have bad quality like video and audio, and you're trying to put out like professional grade videos.
Yeah.
Because no matter how good it is, people are going to be like, oh, that's not watchable. And they're going to go watch Markiplier instead. So, which they're going to do anyway. Let's be honest. He's charming. But yeah, so I haven't really played too much because I've kind of been on the behind the scenes stuff. But I don't hate the Nintendo Online service so far.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are going to turn tail on it when Smash comes out anyway.
Probably.
Because I've been seeing people like, vote with your wallets. Like, don't buy the Nintendo Online. Like, who cares if it's cheap? If it doesn't have the features you like, don't buy it. When Smash comes out, y'all are going to buy it. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Don't even. But for $30 a year, I think it's fine. The NES games are nice nostalgia. That's cheap enough to just fund online play, honestly. Like, that's going to pay for some new servers for better online play. That's about it. It's not enough money to pay for everything else people expect it to do.
Yeah, $30 for a whole year? That's not bad.
Yeah.
So
it's nothing.
I assume they're going to add more stuff to it over time, too. So, I mean, yeah.
Right now, I see it just pretty much being, like, more NES games over time. Like I said, they're doing like 3 a week.
Yeah.
Or maybe a month. I don't know. But they did say there's going to be like exclusive discounts and things like that. Kind of like how PlayStation Plus has their flash sales. We'll see how much that does. But I mean, right now, like as of this recording, a lot of the first party Switch titles are like 25 to 30% off at most retailers.
Oh, wow.
So if they start doing those kind of sales, like, 35 to 40% off with the Switch Online, that's worth it. Sure, they'd be digital only, but who cares? I have a 64 gig card in mine.
Yeah, perfect.
And Mario Odyssey was like 8 gigs.
Oh.
So you can fit a lot of Switch games on there.
Yeah, 8 gigs is not bad.
Yeah, for that game?
Especially considering the scope of Mario Odyssey, you know?
Mm-hmm. But I was trying to kind of pad time because we're only like half an hour. You got anything?
I will say one thing, because while I was working at 2K, I wasn't, like, it was fairly, there. I don't know, I feel like I kind of understand, like, the agreement they had me sign and everything like that, but at the same time, it was like, kind of like, whatever. So, like, I wasn't really allowed to, like, do, like, anything kind of, like, journalistic. So, like, that included, which is why I wasn't on the podcast for as long as I was, however long that was. So it was just really interesting, because I was just, like, scrolling through my Twitter feed and all, like, my gaming news and junk like that, and YouTube videos, and I was just like, I can only observe all of these things and, like, what people are saying, but I couldn't chime in. I wanted so bad.
You'd, like, type a draft tweet and not be able to hit send.
I did that the first day. I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to show you. Then I was like, oh no, can't do it. No, go back. It was just, yeah. So because of that, I just was, like, observing, just reading, just, like, a bunch of stuff that people were saying just as things were happening in the gaming industry. And we as gamers, we bitch a lot about a lot of things just all the time. It's kind of crazy. And it's just really interesting that it's just taken that kind of, I don't know, negative turn, sort of. I don't want to say it's like a negative turn, but, like, I feel like people are highlighting more of, like, the bad stuff in gaming as opposed to, like, the good stuff in gaming. Like, you know, it's like, oh, well, this company did this at such and such or whatever. But it's like, well, yeah, but all these cool games just released and came out a few weeks ago. Like, what about those?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's just
people just want to complain.
Yeah, basically. And that's just kind of the thing. Like, I feel like the internet loves complaining about things. So I guess that's really more of what it is. More than not, it's not just gamers specifically that, like, bitch a lot, but they do bitch a lot about a lot of stupid shit. Don't get me wrong there, but, you know, just kind of like the internet as a whole. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like, oh, bad stuff is happening all the time, and we should be upset because of this. I'm like, is that really that big of a deal to be upset about? Like, really? I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, I don't know. But
yeah, on average, gamers ruin gaming.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Like,
with
the people that are, like, the deepest into it are the most toxic in
Yeah.
relation to it.
Yeah, and a lot of it boils down to one simple thing, and that's basically, like, this game is not the way I imagined it to be, so it's bad.
Mhm.
Which is like, what?
This isn't the expectation. This doesn't meet the expectations I overblew for it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and it's just like, I don't know. It was just weird. And just after a while, I just wanted to, like, tell so many people, like, if you hate this game so much, go play something else. Go find a game that does fit your standards, something that will reflect, like, in your mind's eye, your ideal, like, you know, experience. Like, because there's so many different games out there and so many developers and so many, like, companies that are making games, and, you know, whether they're indie developers or AAA or whatever, there's so many different options out there. Like, there's bound to be something out there that you like. So instead of, like, talking about how much you hate this thing, go find something that you might like. You know? I don't know. That's really, like, what I wanted to say to, like, people, like, towards, like, the end of my employment at 2K, but then it was just like, whatever, doesn't matter. They're not gonna listen anyways. It was like,
right.
They'll just call me a fanboy and then just keep on.
Like, they're in the job of making these games better, but they're complaining about how broken they are. Like, what sense does that make?
Right.
You're there to improve it. Exactly.
I don't know, but it's interesting. But like I said, people just like complaining about shit, so that's never really gonna change. That is, like, a general thing.
I saw something on Twitter recently that was like, people complaining about how many games come out this holiday season time.
Really?
Basically saying, like, like, I have to play, like, Spider-Man, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider comes out the next week, and then Red Dead Redemption comes out, like, 2 weeks after that. Like, when am I going to find the time to play all these games? It's like, you choose what you play. It's not a chore for you. You do it because you like these games.
Sounds like a good problem.
Why are you making it into a job?
it's like you have options. You have options in what you can invest your time into. It's just like, well, I have to invest in, like, come on. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I mean, granted, I can't really say anything because the next game I actually care about is probably the Spyro trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I mean, I need to get back into Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped because I was having some performance issues in, like, a bigger open section.
Mm.
And then I got through that, like, the chugging, and I got to a combat section, and I just don't enjoy combat in that game.
Oh.
So I put it off for a little
Gotcha.
while. But, like, I don't care about Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I've heard that one's more puzzle-oriented. And I'll play it eventually when it gets, cheap or free, like
Mm-hmm.
Rise was for me. But I'm not that audience. I'm not the guy that gets every new game that comes out. Like, Spider-Man was the first game I, quote-unquote pre-ordered. I preloaded the digital deluxe version just so I would have it on release day. Like, I didn't really pre-order it at a store or anything. I just bought it on the PSN, like, the Monday before it came out.
Yeah.
So that I could preload it. But, like, it's just stupid to me how people get so mad about how many amazing games are coming out.
Right?
And then they feel the need to rush through them before the next one comes out.
And then on the other hand, you have people complaining about how bad games were, like however many years ago. It's like, oh, there's so many bad games that are coming out. And there's no excuse for this poor quality of games. And then you have all these good games that come out. It's like, oh, there's too many good games. I can't play them all. My time. Oh, my precious time. It's just like, shut up. Find the time to enjoy your games. You will, I guarantee you'll be able to find the time to enjoy these games if you truly want to sit down and enjoy them,
Or, novel idea, just enjoy fewer new games. Go enjoy life.
Yeah.
Like, go do things outside or, whatever you want to do. And then come back to the games you don't care about as much when they're cheaper.
Exactly.
So your budget will thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, you'd probably be spending money on going outside and doing stuff.
Right.
But at least you're doing something other than just playing the next game that comes out.
Exactly. Exactly.
But games have to be events now. It's like there's that whole games as a service thing where like every studio wants to have the game that you play for years.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Not everything can hook you like Destiny hooks Thomas.
Right.
Like sometimes things are just a standalone experience and you move on. Spider-Man. I've raved about that game. I beat it in like 8 days and was super satisfied with that experience. Yes, I would love more from it, but it's coming. In the meantime, I can jump into other things that I've been neglecting because I was playing Spider-Man. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Or if you want to play one game for a year, like you with Warframe, great. Get your money's worth out of that. Well, in this case, free game. Like, there's so many right ways to play video games. And there's like one way to do it wrong. And that's complaining that too many games come out. Exactly. That's the wrong way to play video games.
Exactly. And you know what? Just on the note of Spider-Man, just like it's like, I haven't played it myself, but also another thing, just after testing, because I tested on PlayStation and Xbox, and it kind of made me want a PlayStation 4 a little bit more, just a little bit. So maybe in my future at some point. So when and if that ever does happen, I'm excited to play Spider-Man, because just, it very easily could have been a story to where you could have been like, this game, whatever. They're probably going to release some crappy DLC for it. But no, you're actually excited about the DLC. So like, that sounds like a big deal to me, if it's got you that interested. And also just all the freaking screenshots I've been seeing. This game does look really freaking good. I will say that. Yeah. It's got a photo mode and all that. It's like, wow. So
Spider-Man as a character makes for some of the best photo mode moments.
Right, exactly. And then also it plays into Spider-Man's character too. Like, that's what he does. He takes pictures of himself.
Yeah, a big part of the side quests and stuff is taking pictures of things.
That's awesome.
There's like photo landmarks all over, like both normal ones and hidden ones.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I love that they integrated a really good photo mode into a Spider-Man game, because it just seemed like the next logical step for like a next gen kind of Spider-Man experience. So that's cool. It's really, I'm looking forward to playing around with that. So
yeah, the point we're trying to make here is just enjoy your games. Yes. Like we say that, I think, at the end of every podcast, right? Yeah. Enjoy your games. Yep. Like that's our slogan. Again, I black out after he's done
I
talking
think sometimes we say shut up and enjoy your games, but yeah, the message is still
True.
there. Enjoy your games.
That message is better. Shut up and enjoy your games.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, that message holds so true. It's like, if you feel like too many games are coming out, just prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
Play what you care about most, and then the next one will still be there.
Right.
But I think part of it's the online aspect of like everyone talks about and spoils things immediately.
That's
like
true.
Spider-Man. The photo mode means that like people are showing off, completely innocent, innocuous scenes with spoiler suits on.
Right.
And so you're like, oh, I didn't know that suit was in the game. Like, man. And granted, that's not really like story spoilers or anything. There haven't been a lot of those.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta respect the Spider-Man community for keeping the things that like surprised me in the story. After soaking up all of the pre-release trailers and stuff like that, like things still surprised me, like the stuff that they completely kept out of all the trailers.
Nice.
That stuff didn't really make it into the photo modes, but like the costumes, some of the locations, things like that did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a bummer, but you can also avoid that stuff. It's not that hard to avoid things on the internet.
Very easily.
There's always going to be the dicks that spoil things anyway, just because they're like, well, you should have played it by now. But that's par for the course these days. We're in an internet era where everything's connected.
Yep.
You don't have to keep everything a secret. You don't have to play everything as the day it comes out. And I don't know. It's just, I don't understand the big deal. Like, it just seems silly to me that so many people like get mad about games coming out so close to each other that a lot of times are nowhere, like, are not even close to each other. But it's like, maybe it's the YouTube era of everyone's a creator now. And so it's like they're in the middle of another Let's Play and it's like, oh, now this game's come out. I have to capitalize on it for my channel that has 300 subscribers. Yeah. Like, what am I going to do?
I feel like that's kind of like a problem with Let's Plays, is that everybody feels like they have to do a Let's Play of the newest game in order to be relevant. And that was kind of like, that was one thing for a while. I remember people would ask me, it's like, oh, what Let's Play should I do next? There's new games coming out. I'm like, dude, play what you want to. Like, do a Let's Play.
That's why I hate Let's Plays.
Do a Let's Play of a game that you enjoy playing, because that, if anything, because for me, I do, I used to anyways. I used to watch Let's Plays of games that I had no intention of playing at any point. Some games I was like, oh, cool, maybe I will play this game after all. But then in other cases, I'm like, oh, glad I watched that Let's Play. I will definitely never play this game. Either way, I have an enjoyable experience. And I can watch any freaking Let's Play. I'm going to stay for the one that has the best personality and the best production value, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. It's play what you want, that kind of thing. And I just feel like everyone has this like fear of being like irrelevant because you're not playing the latest and greatest thing. But that's not really necessarily what it's about. It's more about being who you are, the best version of yourself, when you're producing your content. And then, people will either naturally flock to you, or you're going to have to, get good at being on camera, whatever it is. But anyways,
kind of two notes there. Like, one, I mean, this isn't the thing, but you could say we're just padding for time right now, but hey, it's the Me and Lo show. Deal with it. You don't have to listen.
What is time anyway?
We're just talking to each other. It's been a while. But anyway, one, if you're just a gamer, like if you don't, make content, if you just enjoy things to enjoy them, you have all the time in the world to play any game you want to play. Just do it.
Yeah.
Two, if you're a Let's Player, content creator, whatever, my most popular videos are, one, a Spider-Man retrospective of games that are now at least 5 years old, and two, a two-part video on underrated Game Boy Advance games. That is the oldest no, N64 is now the oldest, but it's one of the oldest consoles that I've done any content on, of anything, and it's the one that always finds a new audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like, every other day I'm getting new comments of like, oh, this game's stupid. It's usually negative comments, let's be honest. But I'm just saying, like, there's nothing telling you have to play every new game that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, if you're a Let's Player, you might feel obligated to, because Let's Plays aren't that interesting on their own. I hesitated to say that, but I was already in too deep. It's the people that are interesting in those cases. So again, like Lo said, it doesn't matter what you play. People are going to come for you.
Right.
And then what you play is secondary because they just want to know your thoughts on that game.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a 20-year-old game that they just love.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to watch it. It could be an entirely new game. If you don't finish that Let's Play, people are going to stop coming. So if a new game comes out every week and you feel a need to do a Let's Play on that new game every week, you're not going to finish any of them. So what's the point even doing them?
Right.
So just play what you want to play. Like, enjoy what you want to enjoy and stop making video gaming into a chore, a job.
Yes.
You're paying to do it. It's the opposite of a job.
Exactly. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself, but yeah.
I think we're done here.
Yeah.
Lo, tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, well, you can find me on Twitter at Nero the Hero. That's N3R0THEH3R0. You can also find me on YouTube, Nero the Hero, just all with letters, no spaces. And I actually, funny story, I searched myself in YouTube, just my screen name, Nero the Hero, it's all that, and I actually popped up close to the top, so that was cool. Anyway, so I am working on, now that I can, I'm working on some various videos, so just, follow me on Twitter and find out what it is, because I'm not going to tell you here. And that's all there is to it.
You tease.
Yes.
And you can find me on Twitter and YouTube if you look up Zero Score. I also have some stuff in the works, like I said, now that I have new lights. The first one I will go ahead and tell you. The other one I've been working on, quote unquote, for months now, so it'll come when it's ready.
That's what she said.
But the next thing I'm excited to work on, like soon, because I have everything I need for it, is a list of pitches for future Marvel games that I have.
Oh.
Ranging from the obvious to the just really cool and out there.
Okay.
I have 5 of them, and like I said, I finished Spider-Man, and I just got to thinking, like, Spider-Man has been so popular, and like there's been a lot of Spider-Man games in the past, but none of them have really gotten it right.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't say this one does entirely, but it's like, what are some other like characters or, franchises or whatever, like groups of characters that either have just never been covered in a video game or have never been gotten right in the past that I think like a good studio could, give the Spider-Man treatment. So I'm really excited to put this together. It's been a little harder because I can't just like record a game and, show it off with some fun gags and stuff. I'm kind of pulling from like a lot of different resources. So like, if it's a character that's in the MCU, I can like pull from their movie trailers and like maybe past games that they've had or things like that, or like pretty much every character or Marvel characters in like the Lego games or Disney Infinity or something like that I can pull from. Yeah. So it's like, it's explaining the concepts with like kind of, other thing footage, that I can show over it to kind of like explain that concept a little better. So it's a more abstract video idea than I usually do, but I'm really excited to try it because I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
But that's what I was kind of one of my lights for, because it's going to be a little bit more abstract. So I wanted to make sure I looked good so that when there isn't footage, it's still like is visually pleasing.
Yeah.
I mean, as visually pleasing as I can get anyway. But yeah, so that's the one thing I will share that I'm working on. I'm hoping to record it this weekend and maybe get it out in the next week or two, depending on how much work it is. But I spent most part of this week like gathering up random stuff from YouTube, from like movie trailers and stuff like that.
Very cool.
So yeah, but that is it for the show. We've got news already out. Thomas, cut this.
What is time? What is that? I don't know. Who cares?
Don't say anything funny. He's going to keep it in and make me look bad. He probably will anyway. But yeah, until next time, enjoy your games.
Also, shut up.
Yes.